Now, our nation's founders understood that there would be challenges to freedom in every single generation. President Reagan used to say freedom's one generation away from extinction. It's not passed along in the bloodstream, and I used to think that was a little bit of hyperbole. I mean, we are, after all, Americans. Isn't freedom and truth just in our DNA? But I think the founders understood, and Reagan understood, that freedom is very fragile. In fact, when they went to frame the Constitution in Philadelphia in 1787, many of them studied the history of every republic that had ever been done in the history of mankind, because they were trying to find lessons that they could draw from those experiments and apply those lessons to what they were trying to do in this new republic. And what they figured out was that if you looked at every republic in the history of mankind, there was really only one thing that they all had in common, and it was this: every single one of them had failed. And so they really believed that it fell to the United States of America to determine once and for all, could people really govern themselves? Could we have a society that was based on the idea that our rights are endowed by God, not given to us by the hand of government? Could we have a society based on the rule of law, not based on the rule of individual men? Or was mankind forever destined to live under various forms of despotism? And they thought that we, as Americans, would ultimately be the society that answered that question. That's why when Benjamin Franklin walked out of the Constitutional Convention, he was asked, "Dr. Franklin, what have you given us, a republic or a monarchy?" And he said, "A republic, if you can keep it." So I believe the survival of the American experiment requires a revival of true American principles. There's a lot of pessimism out there. There's a lot of belief, understandably, which I share, that the country's going in the wrong direction. But Florida should offer a ray of hope. We show that it can be done. We show that better days can still lie ahead. It will not be easy. It will require sacrifice. And that may mean a guy like me that's governor, and I'm taking all this incoming. And I always say, like, I take the incoming so you don't have to. That's my job. I'm not complaining about it. But it's not just people in my position. You could be a parent going to a school board meeting because you're concerned about some of the things going on in school. Are you going to be treated well by media and by some of these people? No. They will smear you. They will attack you. And so leadership is not cost-free, no matter what level you're talking about. But I can tell you this. I think that we are duty-bound to sacrifice. I think we're duty-bound to lead. When I was a U.S. congressman for 3 terms, and I've recovered from that experience, by the way, we would fly up to Washington, D.C., Reagan National Airport, and there was one path that the plane would sometimes take that took you flush parallel to the National Mall. And if you looked out the left side of the plane, you saw sweeping views of the Lincoln Memorial, the reflecting pool, the Washington Monument, other memorials, and all the way up you could see, perched on the hill, was the beautiful U.S. Capitol building. And it's an inspiring sight because those are symbols of the principles and the ideals that make America unique. The tourists loved it because that was a big deal for them. But what I started to realize was the best monuments that you could see were not actually out the left side of the plane. Because if you looked out the right side of the plane, you'd look over the Potomac River, and you'd see monuments that were very nondescript, much smaller, orderly arranged over rolling hills in a place called Arlington National Cemetery. And it occurred to me that you can have the best Constitution in the world, you could have the best Declaration of Independence in the world, but if you don't have people that are willing to put on that uniform, stand up, risk their lives, and indeed, in some instances, give that last full measure of devotion, then none of those principles or that Constitution is going to amount to very much. And so we owe a debt of gratitude for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that we could live in a free society. We're not called upon to make sacrifices nearly that great. We're just required to do our part, stand for what's right in the eye of the storm, and never back down from a fight. I'm happy that we've been able to, over these last 6 months, make good on our campaign promises with respect to the legislative session. We fought the good fight. We finished the race with the legislative session, and we kept the faith. But we've got more to do, and I can tell you this, I have only begun to fight. Thank you all. God bless you all. Thank you so much. God bless the free state of Florida. You ain't seen nothing yet. Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless.